We're here today for the Grenache series in the Clare Valley. People don't know enough about it, so we're here at Kilikanoon. Now, they're professing that they are the home of Grenache in the Clare Valley. Come with me and let's go check it out. Wow, what an awesome cellar door. All right, so we're here in the Clare Valley. Now, not a lot of people would know the quality of Grenache in the Clare Valley, would they? So it's your job today to actually teach everybody about Clare Valley Grenache. Okay,
Sure.
so first of all, I'm going to put you on the spot. I want to know a useless but interesting fact about yourself, who you are, where you started winemaking. So a minute or two just about yourself. Ready, go.
Sure. I've been making wine for about...
Hang on, who are you?
I'm Pete Warr,
Oh, Pete Warr, okay. Senior winemaker?
Chief Winemaker
Chief winemaker?
at Kilikanoon. I've been making wine just over a decade. I got into it because my dad, who's Irish, loved his wine, and my mum, who's French and doesn't like wine. But
Hang on.
I know it's quite strange,
That didn't work, did it?
but very handy, useful passports for going and making wine overseas.
All right,
So,
so
I've
did
made
you?
wine in 6 different countries.
Okay.
Obviously everything from France all the way through to Chile and even in the Ukraine. So I've seen a lot of different...
Hang on, in the Ukraine.
Yep. Did 2 seasons down the Crimea, and
Well, explain to us about that. So there's a big wine industry in the Ukraine?
Yes.
Well, not at the moment, but...
well, not at the
yeah.
moment, but Ukraine during Soviet Union time was the breadbasket of the Soviet Union. All the crops were grown there. A lot of vineyards are planted there, and right near the Black Sea.
And what varietals?
Heavily Separavi, some Riccazzatelli, but then they've brought in a lot of the French varieties.
Okay.
Very focused on making sparkling wine for the Russian market.
All right, okay. All right, well, I'd like to delve into that further, but we
Sure.
won't. We're here for Grenache.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was not useless. That was very interesting facts. So where are we going to start?
Right, so we're going to start with the Prodigal Grenache, which is our reflection on cool climate Grenache. Grenache really came to Australia as a fortified variety and was mainly planted in the really warm areas. And this is over 100 years ago. It's come back in trend, obviously, in more Mediterranean climates to the south of us. But the great thing about it makes this beautiful, delicate wine when grown in these cool climates like the Clare Valley. And that's what this wine is to reflect. It's to show the expression of what cool climate Grenache can really be.
All right, let's crack into it. So cool climate Grenache.
Yep.
Okay, so there's not many cool climate places growing Grenache, though, is
No,
there?
not yet.
No. We'll usually have a little bit more.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, so tasting responsibly, I call it. But
Kilikanoon's a fairly large champion of Grenache in the Clare Valley. Depending on the season, obviously, we'll produce up to about 30 to 35% of all the Grenache in the Clare Valley. And that's why we have such a deep portfolio and really believe in the Grenache grape here in the Clare Valley.
all right, so what colour-wise, it's reasonably light, isn't it?
It is. So it's a lighter colour. It's sort of a dark garnet almost.
Dark. That's a winemaking term. What does
It
that
is a
mean?
bit of a
What does that
winemaker
mean?
term. So it's got those lovely translucent sort of hues, a slight touch of that orange brick, but it's not of age. It's not that age characteristic. It's just natural from the skin of the grape.
Right, and what year was it? 19?
So this is the 18.
The 18?
Yep.
So on the nose, what would the expert be saying? Don't read, not off the tasting notes, but what do you actually smell from it?
It's such an alluring aroma. It's dark cherry, but it's got these blue fruits just lingering behind it. It's not as brambly as, say, a Cabernet, but it's got this lovely soft herbaceousness just lingering underneath.
Herbaceousness. Now that is a good term. There's a lot of fruit there on the nose, though. Oh.
And the flow. The flow is so important. So on the
Okay,
palate-
hang on now. The flow.
Yep.
Let's describe that.
Okay.
All right.
Um,
For a layman who doesn't know what he's talking about.
so it's just starting at the front of the palate and just progresses across the palate so smoothly
Yep.
with no sharp edges.
Well, there's very little tannin, is there? There's no, well, if there is, it's quite well hidden.
It's very well integrated
Yeah.
tannin. The tannin still builds the body, but it's not a drying tannin. It integrates with the fruit, the flavors, the components all come together and just flow seamlessly across the palate.
For marketing, we've got to say there is enough there to want another sip. And
I definitely have.
I'll have to have another little sip anyway. It's very, very, I don't know, there's something about it that's really very different. It actually, to me, I've had a lot of Grenaches over the last 6 to 8 weeks. It's very light, very fruity, and yeah, it's so well balanced. I think that's the word I would say for it, and totally different than any Grenache I've had so far.
And I think that's the interesting part of the cool climate. You still have all the expression that you get from the warm climates.
Yeah.
But the cool climate just allows that complex nature of the wine. And it's really a more wine drinker's wine. There's a lot to look for and open up into.
So what about, I don't have much cellar life at my house because it gets drunk pretty quickly. Yeah. And most wines these days, well, they say 90% of wines are drunk when they're purchased.
First hour, yep.
So what would you say for this one? What would be the prime we could lay it down for in the cellar?
Listen, it's ready to rock and roll now.
Yeah.
Happy to crack it right now. But easily another 3 years.
Yeah.
It's just going to, once again, that the secondary flavours, that dark fruits, they'll just extenuate through the back of the palate.
Right, awesome. So, perfect start.
Great
It
start.
actually threw me because it wasn't what I was expecting at all, but a real quality wine as well. Price point, what?
So we retail this one for around $40 here at the cellar door.
Yeah.
So all this fruit comes from just near our winery, so just around the winery. This one's straight across from the winemaker's window, so we see it every day.
Righto. So it's pretty well looked after now then.
It gets walked through a lot. It gets a lot of attention. So the quality is reflected in that.
Would you say this is, well, there's a couple of styles of Grenache, obviously. There's what I call traditional.
Yep.
In the old style, big, bolder, and then there's obviously the ready to drink.
Yep.
Where's this falling into?
I think this is a more modern take on it.
Yeah.
Once again, it's not the old world warm climates. It's not the trendy maritime climates. This is very modern style, cool climate. It's ready to drink, but it's an elegant wine.
Yeah, it is. Awesome. So what about, I'm getting a little bit hungry, so food-wise, what would you pair with it food-wise?
I'm a sucker for duck. Roast duck.
Oh, Grenache and duck.
Can't go wrong.
So what have you whipped up for us?
So we've got some duck sliders to kick this off
Duck
with.
sliders?
Yes, sir.
All right, and where do we get them from?
It's just a local little pub just down the street, and it's a delight, an absolute treat to be able to duck off there for lunchtimes.
Yeah, duck off and have some duck sliders at the, give them a plug.
Watervale Hotel.
Oh, yeah, right. I was prompting that you give them a plug. So maybe we can get the food just appear all of it. Oh, look at that. Oh, that actually looks sensational.
Should put markers down, shouldn't I?
All right, so duck and Grenache. Mate, that's just got to be some perfect pairing, hasn't it? All right, so there's no dead air. I'm going to eat, and you can watch me know. You can maybe tell us a little bit about the amazing awards you've been winning for your Grenache. I'm not going to listen because I'm just going to eat, but go for it.
We're actually pretty happy with how well they've been received, especially recently, with the styles we've been producing. Everything from the local Clare show, gold medals, high scoring for the Grenache for the region, all the way through to the Mundusvini competition in Germany, which is judged by a wide range of MWs, Masters of Wine, gold medals, trophies, and even scoring 94, 95 points at set with well-recognised critics in Australia. So across the board, it's nice to get that justification, that support from a wide range rather than just a one-off.
Yeah, it sounds like the awards are coming thick and fast from everywhere.
It's very nice.
I'll tell you what else should be getting an award. These sliders. So
Can't go wrong.
you have a little sample, and then we'll talk about the difference in the wine afterward. But I've just got to remember to remind the viewers that these wines are all available to win. Every wine that we have on the show, all you got to do is comment, share, whatever you can. The more you do, the better the chance you have of winning it. And these are absolutely amazing wines. Some probably might end up in my cellar, no doubt, but the rest will be given away. So, what a show. All you got to do is comment. Usually complimenting the host or the winemaker will usually win you a bottle of wine, but keep commenting every platform you can. More you can, share it around, share the love, win some wines. All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you my layman what I think. First of all, that was one of the best sliders I've ever had. That was amazing. But when I had the wine with it afterward, I just got this real big pop of fruit that I didn't get the first time. But I could taste a little bit of spice all of a sudden at the end of it that I didn't taste without the food. So that pairing, superb. You've obviously had a few lunches down the Watervale and
A few sneaky ones on
yeah,
rainy
no,
days.
no doubt. So what a start. And what do you reckon? What is it?
I really like it for the same reasons, and I think this is another reason why Grenache does exceptionally well here in the Clare. The mineral soils which make the famous Rieslings of the Clare also expressed in the Grenache. And
All right,
that
come on.
acidity,
So how does the mineral express in the wine?
so the vines take it up and it's seen within the grapes.
Yeah.
And that gives the fine line which lingers behind all that fruit. And when you pair it with a nice piece of duck, that oiliness,
Yeah.
the acidity comes out and shines in itself.
Ah, great explanation. I might have to claim that it was mine. What a fantastic start. Cool climate Grenache. There's got to be more of it.
There's plenty more.
There's got to be more of it. So great start.
Thank you.
All right, so we're on to the Duke Reserve.
Yeah.
I thought I'd throw the reserve bit in there so Emily doesn't tell me off again. But actually, we should probably, shouldn't we? The Duke Reserve Grenache.
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It's one of our iconic wines of Kilikanoon. This is probably heralds back to the more traditional styles of Grenache made previously in Australia.
So old school.
It's old school,
Yeah.
it's big, it's intense, it's about concentration. And whereas the last one flowed, this one radiates out and just fills the palate.
No, you've done this before, haven't you? Radiates out. I love it. That was a great way of describing it. And all right, so we're old school. What different do you do in the winery? Because I know some winemakers love Grenache because they get to showcase their skills. Because it's not set and forget, is it?
No, definitely not. So this is all about being handcrafted.
Yeah.
Open top fermentation, plunged by hand, pumped over by hand, filled basket presses, pressed by hands, barreled down. It's all handcrafted, and that's where you get to cherry pick the finest parts to make these big, rich wines.
And different fruit, different block,
Different blocks.
Yeah.
Different blocks. So slightly higher on the slopes, on the elevation, concentrated. These vines have an average age of around about 70 years old. So they're quite aged vines. So the fruit is obviously smaller. The vines are producing less, and you
But
just
it's
get
more
that
intense,
intensity all the way through, from start to finish.
And I don't know a lot about Clare. Well, actually, I don't know a lot about anything, but don't know a lot about Clare. Is there different like microclimates in Clare
Definitely,
itself?
Definitely. So we're actually from the cooler part of the Clare down the southern end near Watervale.
Yeah.
And so once again, we've got that lovely, softer, cooler area, which allows for this longer ripening period, longer lingering on the vine, if you want to say.
Yeah.
And you just get this fruit ripeness coming through, which we can then absolutely pick at the precise times we want it.
All right. So I'm looking at it thinking it's not a hell of a lot darker than the first one, but
The color radiates all the way through the hue again,
yeah.
whereas the previous one was more translucent.
Yeah.
That color, that anthracene is definitely there. It's a bit darker in the middle. It's got these slight purple hues in there.
And it's sticking to the glass a little bit more than the other one as well.
Yeah. So this one is aged in French oak puncheons, 500-litre casks.
Ah, so they're really, yeah, okay.
And it's left in there for...
And how old are these casks?
The casks are about 3 or 4 years old.
So we're still getting some of that.
You're getting some. It's not new oak, so
Yeah, okay.
I want to impart the texture of the oak without the flavour of the oak.
Right. No, nobody wants oak in Grenache, do they?
Not overly.
No. All right. So I have actually learned something. So let's have it on the nose. Oh, it's totally different.
Yeah. Even on the nose, you just can tell it's going to be a big punchy wine.
Yeah.
It's got the secondary of those spices and those dried herbs that are coming through.
Trying to hug you through the smell of it, let alone the taste of it. I'm looking forward to it. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's a lot bigger. Whoa,
It,
that is.
it anchors in the middle of your palate and just comes out and covers all aspects of your
It's got
palate.
that. You've done well on the balance again though, because it was a very fruit forward still. Probably more than from the smell of it. I couldn't smell any of those berries, but it was almost cherry. And then there's some of those. I would describe some of the other earthiness or something I say, so I can get that through it. But the linger on the palate was amazing, and you've done it again. There's more tannic on the end. It's a little bit drier, but it's still perfect. So
I love the dried herb aspect that's on the nose is what's on the finish too. The finish isn't driven by texture, it's driven by that flavour.
yeah,
And it just sits there.
It seems to sit there for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes it a brilliant food wine, but also a great wine just to sit there and contemplate and enjoy in front of a fireplace.
Yeah, I honestly think if you poured this for Shiraz lovers, you say, oh, I like big bold Shirazes, that's all I drink, they would actually...
Leap on it.
Yeah, they would leap on it. So, yeah, to the Shiraz lovers, have a crack at this one, I reckon. And what about awards-wise? Because I'm pretty much guessing this one's cleaned up as well.
It has. Being one of the iconic wines of Kilikanoon, it always has received a lot of accolation. I believe it got a gold medal at Mundus Vini, judged by Masters of Wine, but it's also picked up a 94 point at Wine Pilot, and it's even been awarded at Decanter, which is a nice fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, that's a bit of a feather in the cap, isn't it?
Decanter gives you a little tap on the shoulder, so that's
Yeah,
nice.
awesome. And one of your faves?
In the winter months,
Yeah.
it goes.
It's actually a really big wine. I'm thinking by the fire, and
Yes,
if you're an older school, maybe a cigar once every now and then, that'll go.
couldn't hurt.
That couldn't hurt out the back either, could it? So food wise,
We're out here in the country.
yeah,
Lamb, steak, big, broad, meaty dishes, gamey dishes. So we've actually got some Ironside steak for this one, which is once again from the Watervale Hotel,
yeah.
cooked on their open fires.
We've got a bit of love for the Watervale Hotel, haven't we?
They're good people.
They can cook too.
Yeah.
That helps. So we'll just miraculously appear a steak out of nowhere, as we usually do. And I actually had the steak there for dinner last night, and it was superb. So I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, look at this.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Get the photo.
I'm going to have a little crack at the steak while you watch me once again. Tell me about this wine and why it's one of your favourites to make. How does it showcase your winemaking skills?
I suppose the great thing about making this wine is trying to make an icon every year. So absolutely cherry picking the right fruit and the right growing conditions for this wine. This isn't a single vineyard wine. It comes from a couple of different vineyards. So going out and finding the very best parts of the fruit specifically designed for this wine. So from start to finish, grape to cap, we had this in mind. And so we get to customize the whole process just for this one wine.
Quick question, which came to mind with what you said. Do we make it every year?
We try to.
If the quality wasn't, because
if the quality wasn't there,
you got good enough fruit to make a majority of years.
yeah. As mentioned before, Kilikanoon has championed Grenache for a long time.
Yeah.
When it was out of fashion, a lot of people pulled it out or grafted it over. Where Kilikanoon committed to it.
Yeah.
And that's why we do produce so much of it, and we have some of the oldest Grenache vines in the valley.
All right. You have a little sample, and I'm just going to tell the viewers once again, all they have to do is comment to win this amazing wine. You know, share the posts, share the stories, get it out there as much as you can, because Clare Valley Grenache needs to be showcased. Because I consider myself a little bit of a Grenache novice. I wouldn't say expert, but I've drunk a lot and they're very different. They're the first one especially. The second one we're up there with the big boys, and that was great. But with the steak, kind of mellowed the wine a lot, and a perfect pairing once again.
Yeah.
So kudos to you and the guys at the Watervale Hotel have done a magnificent job. But lamb, you could also pair it with.
I mean,
Even a bit of kangaroo would go all right with it.
Oh yeah, a nice little bit of kangaroo smoked. That smokiness just helps with the wine so much.
So absolutely cracking wine, and I think the old Duke is all of a sudden one of my new favourites. So
glad to hear it.
and what's the best way for people to get it?
The best way: come into the cellar door, talk to the guys, taste it, and see if you like it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to do it.
Or take my word for it and jump on the internet and order it, because I'm telling you now, there's a cracking wine. There's no one who's not going to like it if they love Grenache.
You could also comment on some posts and maybe even win one.
Shh, I was going to keep that one myself. All right. Anyway, so I think you've done a magnificent job, and then we've got a little bit of a Australian Wine Weekly first coming up.
Got a little something special.
All right, let's finish this steak and wine off, and then we'll crack onto that. All right, now we've worked our way up to the flagship. That'd be a good way to describe it.
Yeah, so at Kilikanoon we have a range. We like to really champion not only a variety, but some unique sites. And we like to keep them in our family of wines. And this is one which we are really proud of.
And hang on, is this an Australian Wine Weekly first?
You are the first people outside the winery family to see this wine.
Oh, I feel real privileged. I feel a little bit excited now.
This is the inaugural.
Vintage of the Walton's 1946 Grenache.
Okay, so what's the story behind the Walton 1946? Why is it?
The Walton family, which live right next door to our winery, their grandfather was in the war and was actually a soldier's block. And so when they took it over...
Well, that's a lot of people wouldn't know what I do. I'm ex-military, but I wouldn't know what a soldier's block is. Let's explain what a soldier's block is. So the boys returned from the war.
Yep.
And to integrate them back into society was the main reason for it. So the people in the local area all got together and they were given parcels of land.
Correct.
And the boys worked that parcel of land together, built the house,
Yep.
probably did the vineyard, ploughed the fields, everything like that. And then they moved on to the next one and the next one and the next one.
And a lot of the valley was established that way. So
Wow, that's an awesome bit of history, isn't it? An awesome bit of history. All right, so anyway, I got a bit sidetracked. I love any military history, but so...
we're really proud of this.
It is.
Why have we never made it before?
It's been a parcel which was just bush-grown grapes. It's on the top of the ridge. It's in sandy soil.
Yeah.
And
So the bush vines.
bush vine, no trellising. It's all sprawling. And we've been working with the family and we've developed this vineyard and the fruit on it is second to none.
Yeah, and I'm straight away, there's not going to be very much of it, is there?
There is very little amount.
Yeah, right. So what are we talking? What'd you pull off of it?
We're only looking at a couple of ton max.
So she's a pretty short release.
She's a very small release,
Yeah.
but that is also reflected in the quality and the price.
Fucking. You got me hanging now.
So 100% bush-grown grapes,
Yeah.
100% hand-picked.
Okay.
All-
So I'm guessing everything's
Everything's done by hand.
ultimate care is taken in.
Yes.
Not that the others weren't, but this is the next level. This is your baby.
Yep.
Yep.
Unique little stainless steel fermenters, all plunged by hand, no pumps. Everything's done by hand.
Right. So you actually really you have to know what you're doing.
Yes,
Yeah. All right. Who'd you get to help you?
just me.
Of course. So, oh, wow, that's very intense, isn't it? Deep colour.
So
If you, I reckon you could get some not wine novices, but wine experts and say this was a Shiraz or a Cab, and with looking at it, people would not know, would they?
The color goes all the way to the hue. The intensity of this, the small amount of whole bunch that we put in there as well, just to make it a bit more complex and to really reflect the sense of place.
A couple of other tricks put into this
There's
one?
a few little winemaker tricks in
Yeah.
this one.
And it's really showcasing what you can do.
It's a combination of the unique site, high altitude, sandy bush grapes, the way it's traditional.
Perfect Grenache growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
blue currants.
Blue currants. Blue currants. What's at the end of it though?
It's like this almost musk aroma.
Yeah, that's a great definition.
Yeah.
All right, enough sniffing. Let's have a taste. Oh, that's a different level, isn't it?
It's just, it's intense but very well balanced. It just rolls that huge fruit explosion of the whole bunch. But the complex nature showing the earthiness, the tones, and the layering, whereas the other ones were a flow. This is just layer after layer after layer of flavors.
I reckon. You could let this, would you decant this for a while?
I would.
Yeah?
I'd give this a little bit of air.
What, a couple of beers?
A couple of beers is a good measure.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
usually my measure for
I think it's
how
wise.
long you decant
Yep.
things. But, so we're putting on the decanter and we're not sharing this one very often, are we?
No,
It's not a visitor's wine.
no, to be.
So we're hiding that one. What would you pair with it?
We are in lamb country. A soft bit of lamb, some varietal fruits, say like a fig.
A fig.
A fig. So that sweet,
That threw me.
that sweet and savouriness, the layers of that, with the lamb dish, on the money.
And we've entered this into a competition already, even though it's not released.
It's not released.
So we should probably say that it's not released, and you can't get it until
1st of June.
1st of
is
June.
the
Can you
release.
pre-order?
You can if you come into the cellar door,
Yeah.
if especially join the wine club.
Right. Oh,
You can-
wine club.
The wine,
We haven't even mentioned it. What wine club?
the Kilikanoon Wine Club. You can join.
How do we get on there?
You come in and see the lovely people at cellar door.
And
Can
they'll
you jump on the website and
jump
join?
on the website. And
Is there a cost to join?
There isn't, no, free to join.
So it's free to join, and you get discounts and access to pre-releases and
Pre-releases, museum releases, the works.
wow, these people don't get onto these wine clubs, don't they? We'll put a post and we'll put that out there because our wine clubs are awesome, and you're not spamming people, are you?
no. I mean,
It's not spam if you get a great deal.
no.
And it's a lovely club to be part of because we're constantly evolving our wines and bringing out new products too. So you're not just seeing the same wine year in, year out. You're seeing a lovely evolution of a product and a label.
Is there dinners or anything? With
We do have dinners all around the country.
Right, awesome.
We come to you.
Okay, fair enough. You know I'm in Christie's Beach.
Yeah, sure.
Supper, come down to supper. So what's the name of the club?
So it's actually called the Covenant Club. So
Why?
a lot of our wines, as you've seen, the Prodigal, they have biblical references. And the covenant is the pact between us and our wine club that we're going to deliver a high quality product every time. We won't bottle it unless we believe it's of that quality.
And then the special deals, the dinners, the museum stock, the
All come along with it.
You'd be silly not to join them, wouldn't you? You're silly. I'll be doing that on the car on the way home, I reckon.
Easy enough.
All right, so let's get some of this crazy food out with it. So what are we going to have again?
So we want the sweet and the savory and the texture. So we're getting the figs with the lamb cigars.
You've gone all out on the food, haven't you? Oh, all right. So we're going to start with savoury.
Sure.
Yeah? All right. So we've got a lamb cigar. I've never had a lamb cigar before.
No.
No, you go for it. You can have dead air if the food's really good.
Right.
All right. So we'll go. Oh. That's superb.
Yeah.
So once again, it's about mimicking the layers of flavour in the wine with this lamb and the sweetness, the savouriness, the Parma ham.
Wow. Oh, that was a massive change.
Yeah.
The fattiness of the lamb just complemented the wine so much.
Yeah.
It actually seems stronger. It just cut through like that.
You can start seeing that small amount of whole bunch that's worked through the ferment. The whole bunch is loaded in by hand. That alternative acidity, just bright and clean.
That was superb. Fair cigar too, I must say. We'll give the Watervale shout out once again. And I'm not so sure on what's happening here, mate. But so you're trying to show me the contrast of the savoury and the sweet.
I want to show the layers of flavour in this wine, which is what bush-grown Grenache is all about.
A bit more because I've run out. Look, you're a bit dry too there.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
So,
Notice I didn't pour at any of the other ones, but only the top of the range comes out and I can serve myself. So, just put that in there. All right.
I love this dish because the sweet, savoury nature of the fruit with the Parma ham, the thick Parma ham.
It doesn't look that inviting.
Put it in your mouth.
All right. Shut up, you reckon? So what are we doing? Taking a little bit of the fig
A little bit of everything.
and a little bit of the prosciutto?
Yep.
And what's on the bottom?
It's a savoury couscous.
Right. Savoury couscous. Jeez, I tell you what, for a pub in the middle of nowhere, they've got a fair menu. All right. Well, I should have got Emily to cut it up for me. Would have been easier. Oh. Yeah. Not sure it worked.
Too sweet for you?
Yeah, I'm not much of I look like I'm a sweets man, but I'm not much of a sweets man. I'm more of a savoury man. But, well, hang on a minute. At first, my brain was thinking it doesn't work. Not that it works, my brain works so well either. But once it's lingered a little bit, Actually, I have to go again.
Yep.
I have to go again. So tell me about, what's the ethos of the winery?
So the winery was founded on the concept of uncompromising commitment to quality.
What does that mean for a layman?
So every bottle we produce, we won't bottle it unless it hits a certain level that we are happy with. So every wine from the entry levels all the way to our single vineyard range must hit a quality level that we're consistently happy with. The great thing about my job is the evolving style of the winery. And so it's a moving target, it's a moving goalpost every year, but that's the challenge and that's the fun part of my job.
Speaking of goalposts, we haven't given the lines of a plug at all yet, so we will quickly get that in. I heard Charlie Cameron loves your Grenache.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would, wouldn't he? He loves South Australian wines. You know, Adelaide let him go. That's their fault, not ours. But anyway, these amazing Grenaches.
Thank you.
How long have you been working here for again?
So since the end of 2018, come in.
Oh, since all the awards started flocking in. No, it's a team effort, isn't it?
It's a team
Wouldn't
effort.
happen without you, but it's a team effort, yeah. So tell us about some of these amazing awards.
So
Tell me about the one where you thrashed all the big boys.
So one of the wines we'll show you later is a GSM, a Grenache-based wine.
Yeah.
And we won Best Australian Red at the IWSC, the International Wine Spirits Competition
Hang on a minute. A little winery in Clare won best red wine
of Australia.
of Australia. Oh, damn it, the fact getting a good way of a good story, mate. But that's mate, no, that is an amazing effort.
And we are really proud.
That the base of that wine is some of our Grenache.
You know, now that we've mentioned it though, we're going to have to bring it on the show.
If we have to.
So you've got some other Grenaches that we could.
We do. We've got a few little surprises for you.
Have you?
A little few
Let's
treats.
Let's sneak off and have a crack at those.
Why not?
And I'll look into his eyes lovingly, give him a wink. "60-second wine tasting, Kilikanoon, go."
Nathan, welcome to Kilikanoon Salvador. I really want to show this being a day of firsts. It's our Ashton Mataro. The vintage 2020, 100-year-old in that vintage.
100 or 102?
101 in 2020. 100 in 2020.
Righto. It's 102.
Now it's 102.
Oh, very, very dark. Very dark. On the nose? Oh, it's dreamy. What is that? What is that? Come on,
Mate.
60 seconds.
It's red berries, it's white pepper, it's...
Oh, white pepper.
Yeah.
Cheers.
And it mimics on the palate. It's juicy, it's juby, it's blue fruit, and it's almost...
When you're high